Hello everyone, Papa Ken here, and I'd like to preface this video with two things. First of all, you might notice that the setup's a little bit weird. That's because I actually forgot my tripod at the new house, which I used to film the Discovering Doctor Who, which will be coming out tomorrow. I just need more time to get it all edited and everything. I apologize. But second thing, what I'm going to be discussing in this video is has some pretty sensitive topics, especially with what's going on right now. So let me just say that this video is to voice my own opinion on what is going on, and I am not trying to do this to attack anyone. If I refer to feminists, I am not referring to all feminists, unless I specifically say so. Basically, I'm not going to generalize in any means. But also, down in the comments, this video is to try and start a dialogue, because I really wanted to do this with, someone else, but unfortunately I just don't have the proper setup for that right now. So the purpose is to create a discussion for, to sort of bounce my opinions off of. And in the comments, please be respectful. Please do not attack anyone specifically, and don't just generalize everything. Don't just say all feminists do this, all so-and-so do this. Just keep it civil and, just try and state your opinions without attacking people. But okay, what I want to talk about concerns the Marvel Cinematic Universe and a lot of the controversies that have been going on for the past couple of weeks, I guess it is at this point. Starting with number one, Joss Whedon. Now, for those of you that might not know, Joss Whedon, I guess it was yesterday, today's Tuesday, Monday the 4th, he dropped off of Twitter because of all the attacks he was getting from different people claiming to be social justice warriors, or supposedly that's how they're being portrayed in the media that's talking about this. And I've been trying to find out why people are so mad at Joss Whedon, like what exactly it is that people have such a huge issue with, because in my opinion Joss Whedon has been one of the best directors and writers to hit Marvel in quite a long time. And it's like all of his, well, not all, but a lot of his shows I really enjoy. Firefly is one of my favorite shows of all time. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, while I haven't watched all of the episodes, like everything that I have watched of that, I've really enjoyed. But what I found out was that apparently a lot of people aren't really happy with well, apparently, like, they say the decisions he made for Avengers, like the decisions he made as far as Black Widow and Captain America, but then also just the way he wrote Black Widow in this particular story, which is something I'm going to actually be getting to in a minute. But, and I apologize for the noise with the pets and everything, but basically, the way I see it is this. It's like there's no reason for people to have attacked him. If people don't like his writing, that's fine. That's, there's a lot of people that have all kinds of different opinions about writers. There's people that flat out hate Stephen Moffat. There's people that absolutely love him. There's people that absolutely love Joss Whedon. There's people that hate him, apparently. From what I've read, apparently some people say that either his fans have regarded him as like the the one true speaker when it comes to feminism, or they say that in interviews he comes off that way. Now, I'll say just from my personal experience, I haven't really seen anything that really gives that impression. I've gotten the impression that he's a feminist, but nothing that says that he believes he is the one true speaker for feminists. So yeah, apparently, oh, and I apologize, this is going to contain some spoilers for the new Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, so let's just get that out there. If you haven't seen the movie yet, stop this, you'll want to come back later. Alright, but one of the major points having to do with Black Widow is the fact that she refers to herself as a monster regarding the things that that are revealed in the movie about her life, about her past, about all the people she's killed, and the fact that because of what the Assassin's Guild or whoever it is that trained her did, like, they sterilized her, so she is not a, quote, normal human being. And a lot of people had a huge issue with that, saying that it was Joss Whedon saying that not being able to have a kid or being sterilized, being in that situation, makes you a monster. I don't understand the issue there. The entire thing that's going on in the story, it's very character driven. And like the whole aspect is like, she's the character Natasha, Black Widow. She is, saying that Bruce Banner, who is the Hulk, is, the least, uh, she works with, people that killed, people that want to fight, like Captain America, Iron Man. Bruce Banner is the one that actively seeks out to not fight. He wants to avoid fighting at all costs. So, I mean, in many ways, even though he turns into a monster, he is less like a monster than pretty much anyone else in the Avengers. Or that's the impression I got from it anyway. And, what else? But yeah, it's like certain things like that. I don't understand why people are so mad with Joss Whedon. And then it's like even some of them blame like certain aspects of the movie, like decisions that he supposedly made. And fact is, especially with what I've read the last few days, a lot of the things he actually wanted in there that were pretty progressive just didn't end up happening. Like he wanted to have the character Ms. Marvel in this Avengers movie, even if it was just like right at the end. Marvel couldn't let it happen, and by the time they could have worked it out, like he was already done with the movie, and they made a lot of decisions that he didn't like. That again, from what I've read, were pretty progressive, pretty strong as far as what a lot of the complainers seem to be saying. But he had to, even as much as he fought, there are certain things, he had to just kind of let Marvel have their way, which is strange. But yeah, I don't understand all the hate for Joss Whedon, because he's not the only decision maker in all this stuff. Yes, he wrote the script, but when it comes down to it, final decision happens a lot with the executives of Marvel, and I just. Again, I just never have gotten the impression that he portrays himself as the say-all be-all of feminists. I've gotten the impression that he's a feminist and he's proud to be one, but never saying like he's the authority or he's the one true speaker. Maybe people have gotten that impression themselves, or they have implied that in just the things that he's written or the things that he said to make him seem like the one true speaker of the feminist voice. But for whatever reason, he says or did something that disappointed them, and then all of a sudden, he's not for equal rights, he's a horrible person. And yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I just don't get the whole Joss Whedon hate thing that's going on right now. If some of you are in the camp of anti-Joss Whedon right now, please do try and explain what the real issue is here, because honestly, from the stuff that I've read online, having to do with the Avengers and supposedly making Natasha Romanoff the Black Widow, like screwing her over, as a lot of people have put it, and well, that's in the nicer form of putting it. I don't get that impression. So please, let's start the dialogue and let's talk about that. See if you can help me come to some sort of understanding, or maybe I can help you, I don't know, come to an understanding as to why Joss Whedon might not be the bad guy here. I'm not saying whether he is or not. I could be wrong. Again, it's just my opinion based on my views. But moving on from there, the second thing I want to talk about is that a lot of people are saying that in this movie, the Black Widow is weak. She's a weak character. Again, it's like, sort of an extension of her being screwed over in this movie. And again, I don't get that impression at all. Because I've seen the movie. I thought Black Widow, personally, was amazing. Now, in some of the other movies, I would say she's definitely much more independent, much more self-sufficient. But the perspective I got from this movie is that we got to see another aspect of her personality. We got to see another side of her, a more sensitive side to her that was brought out. But again, spoilers, just to warn, but one that was brought out in the flashback that she had, where we find out, certain details and sort of this fever dream state of the things she went through as a child growing up to become this assassin. Now, supposedly also, there was supposed to be some sort of rape implication in that, which I didn't get that at all. So, I mean, I may have just overlooked it. So if someone could try and explain how that fits in, uh, please do let me know. But just I didn't get any implication of rape at all in that. But okay, to get back on track, we get that aspect of her personality, and then also her and Bruce Banner have established this connection. In that she has a technique in which she is able to help bring him out of the Hulk state. They call it is it nap time or lullaby? I can't remember exactly, but like there's the connection there, and there is, for all intents and purposes, a romance that blossoms there. And if some people aren't a huge fan of the romance, that's fine. But simply being open to a character that, we might not have expected her to. Like, me personally, I didn't expect there to be that connection, but holy crap, when it happened on screen, to steal a term from Tumblr, I now ship Bruce and Natasha, or what did I call them before? Benioff. Yeah. Benioff. Yeah, Benioff. There we go. But as far as her being a weak character, I mean, she still kicks ass. She is still a strong character. She's still a strong personality. But just the fact that we get another side of her that, in my eyes, makes her, it shows a little bit more of her human side and not just the cold, calculating Black Widow. I don't know, I don't see a problem with that. And again, if anyone wants to voice some opposition to that, please do explain why you feel that Black Widow was portrayed as so weak, or you feel she was screwed over in this movie, because I absolutely loved her. I loved her in this movie. If anything, this movie made me enjoy her as a character more, and she's already, like, my favorite character, like, probably top 2 favorite characters in the entire Marvel franchise. By the way, Marvel, if you're watching this, most likely not, give Black Widow her own movie. Please? Please? Alright, anyway, moving on to the third thing I wanted to talk about in this video. One of the things, and this might be another thing that people were yelling at Joss Whedon for, which whatever, anyway, my thoughts about the whole Joss Whedon hate, but one thing that a lot of people are saying is that there was a major lack of female characters, that female characters got screwed over in this movie, which, admittedly, there are more male characters in the movie. Then again, especially in the beginning, there have been a lot more male characters in the Avengers. And it does seem like it's going in a different direction, because now we have the Scarlet Witch coming on to the Avengers, and possibly bringing on more with Ms. Marvel in the future. So it's getting more toward an even space. But as far as female characters in the movie, now of course we have Black Widow and Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, and then there in that regard the Avengers men outnumber the women by far. But when it comes to the movie itself, we also have Maria Hill, aka, I don't think she runs S.H.I.E.L.D., but she's basically like the leader of whatever it is that has replaced S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point. Yeah, but Maria Hill, yeah, definitely a strong character. Not a romance interest for any of the characters. I mean, she's just a very strong character, a strong personality that has very strong tie-ins to this movie. And then from there, we also get to see Peggy Carter, aka, Cap's love interest from the first Captain America movie, and the second one too. We get to see that little clip of her when she's older. And also the star of her own TV show, which I haven't watched yet. But again, even there, it's like we have a very strong character that makes an appearance, although it is in a hallucination state. But yeah, Peggy Carter. So at that point, we have 4 strong female roles. Then there's Dr. Helen Cho, who, I mean, she doesn't play a huge part of the movie, but she does have a major impact in that without her, there's certain elements of the movie that wouldn't have been able to flow seamlessly. But, and again, she does make a comment about being interested in Thor. But, I mean, as far as being an actual romantic interest, that's not there. She's just an independent character that, she is apparently, like, the best in her field. I can't remember what that field is exactly. But, she's just a very intelligent, strong woman. And, I mean, yes, Ultron does almost kill her, but at the same time, she is a normal human that is being taken hostage, and she takes a risk. Like, she basically... Without her, the Vision probably wouldn't have happened. Let's face it. Without her making the move that she did, the Vision probably would have just become the final form of Ultron in, as far as this movie's plot goes. And then finally, we have Laura Burton, who we find out is, Hawkeye's wife. And I mean, I don't know, maybe some people wouldn't consider her to be a good example to throw in this list, but I personally do, because of the relationship she has with Hawkeye. Well, I mean, other than them just being married, is like, he trusts her, he listens to her. And I just felt like, so let me count that up again. So it's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 6, in my opinion, strong female character roles that this movie just wouldn't have been the same without. Again, yes, the men do outnumber the women, but I feel like all these characters did serve very effective roles, even if they were just the minor hallucinations, like with Peggy Carter showing up. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm stumbling over my own words here right now, but in that regard, I don't know. I do feel like there's still a lot of room to improve. There's still more female characters that could potentially join the Avengers, that could come into the cast more. But overall, I mean, as far as roles not being specified to superhero and non-superhero, I felt like it was pretty even overall. Now, like I've said with the other ones, if you feel differently, please do voice that and let me know what your feelings on it are. But in my opinion, I felt like the women were pretty well represented. There's definitely room to improve, but, I mean, and this movie was a big step up from even the first Avengers film, which the two primary female characters were essentially Black Widow and Maria Hill. And that was it. And technically, I can't even remember if they actually have a discussion together, if they have a conversation with those two characters. Like, the rest is like, there were some women in the background that were with S.H.I.E.L.D., but as far as, even primary or secondary characters go, they were it. So, I mean, in that regard, this movie was already a huge step up, and I honestly feel that unless there's some mistakes made along the way, it can only go up from there, especially as we get more powerful women in the Marvel Universe, like Sue Summers? I think that was her name, but basically Sue from the Fantastic Four movie that's going to be coming up. Ms. Marvel, like I mentioned earlier, or Captain Marvel. Yeah, Captain Marvel. Yeah, there's just, I feel like things are on the upswing, and I feel like it's definitely an improvement, at the very least, over the first Avengers movie, as far as women having effective primary and secondary roles within the movie. Now, oh, and by the way, thank you to, I'll refer to her as Azzy. I'm not sure if that's her real name or not, but thank you to Azzy for pointing out some of those names for me that I put in the list, because you really helped me out, and I appreciate that the motivation you gave me to actually make this video. I really do appreciate that. But it's time to move on to my fourth and final point that I wanted to talk about in this video, and it's probably the most it's definitely one of the most controversial ones that's come up in recent weeks, and it actually happened before, or it exploded before the movie came out, and it's Jeremy Renner, aka the man who plays Hawkeye. It's Jeremy Renner's comment about Black Widow being a slut. And I'll let you all go out and find the videos to, watch that if you wish to, or if you don't already know about it, but my personal views on this situation boiled down to this. Was it a very stupid thing for him to say? Yes. Should he have said it? Not really. But the context that he paints it in, especially in the recent clip in which he was on Conan, the late night show, he mentions getting into internet trouble, as he put it, and making the off-color joke about Black Widow being a slut because apparently in the comics she's hooked up with Captain America, Iron Man, and several others, which in, not so much the words, he, jokingly says she's a slut. And then he remarks on Conan, like, if Conan slept with, 5 or 6 superheroes, he would be a slut. And then, even he would be a slut. And I feel like the major problem there is the word usage. Because, the word slut is definitely a hurtful one, especially for some people. Do I think that he, do I excuse him for saying it? No. But do I think it's that big of a problem? In my opinion, no. Now, again, I know that from a woman's perspective, it can be a lot more hurtful, and it would be a lot easier to be offended by that. But I feel like in the context of talking about the fictional character and just jokingly saying she's a slut, while also equivalating that guys can also be sluts, like, male superheroes would be sluts. I don't see a huge issue with it. Let's face it, in my opinion, Tony Stark in the comics is a slut. He has been with quite a few different women in the Marvel Universe. So in that regard, Tony Stark is a slut. Now, the likelihood of a guy being referred to as one is more rare. It's definitely, guys sleeping around is typically seen as a positive thing, and unfortunately, women sleeping around tends to be seen as a negative thing, which I don't agree with at all. But, yeah, basically, my view, just to sort of reiterate what I said at the beginning, should Jeremy Renner have said that? No. But I don't feel like it's as big of a deal as it really is. Yes, he made the joke, but I think that what people should be concentrating on is not the slut-shaming aspect, but, okay, you call Jeremy Renner out on it. He gave an apology. Some people say it was a half-assed apology. He basically doubled down in the Conan interview. But we move on from that and we point out the strong positive aspects of Natasha. We move past this whole ideal that being sexually active is a negative thing. It's like, if that's Jeremy Renner's opinion, that's Jeremy Renner's opinion. But I think that one of the biggest things is we need to move past this whole deal that being sexually active is a negative thing for people, because it does nothing but cause problems. It's a way of controlling people, and I don't agree with slut shaming at all. I don't know. In my mind, referring to the character Black Widow as a slut, I can see how it was meant to be playful, especially if it's a thing among friends. Now, saying that in public, shouldn't have done that, especially in an interview. But I don't know. Me as a guy, and I know straight white guy, so it's my opinion is pretty standard, I suppose. But I don't personally, excuse me, I don't personally see it as a major issue. I see the major issue as us not trying to focus on getting past sexuality being a negative thing, which, in my opinion, is the more overarching issue with everything, really. Because if we didn't view sexuality in such a negative light, especially here in the U.S., other places as well, but here in the U.S. in particular, I don't feel like that would have even been a thing that came up. Like, that wouldn't even really have been a joke that he would have made, calling her a slut. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was another one that I kind of talked in circles on. But I hope I didn't offend anyone on one side or the other. I just wanted to be completely honest in this video. Again, thank you very much to Azzy for helping me feel motivated to make this video, because, yeah, I really wanted to have a conversation with someone, to do a video with someone beside me that I could bounce these ideas off of. It probably would have been a much longer video, but yeah, again, please do keep in mind if anything I said offended you, or if you disagree with anything I said, please do. I hope you waited until the end before you went down in the comments and started raging. And I do ask that please no one rage. I just want this to be a civil, respectable discussion. I know it's going to be very hard, especially with these sensitive topics, and how, you know, much some of them might trigger some people. But I just wanted to start a conversation, and hopefully that conversation leads to a good place with me learning things, possibly other people learning things. I just feel like that's the best way to, hopefully for more people, not everyone, because some people just won't let it go, but for everyone, a lot of people to start to move past this, to start to move on from these issues, and I don't know, possibly try and make the world a little bit of a better, more understanding place. But then again, who knows, maybe I'm just rambling again. But anyway, everyone, thank you very much for joining me for this video and for taking the time to watch this. I know it's rather long, so for those of you that stuck it out, I really do appreciate it. But yeah, this video is going up on Wednesday because I need more time to finish the Discovering Doctor Who, which will be coming out on Thursday. And yeah, I'll just leave it there. Everyone, please leave your opinions down below. Be respectful, and I'll see you all next time on Discovering Doctor Who. Until then, everyone, later.